Morning, folks. Welcome to the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. Boy, do we have a special program for you today. And not only is it a special program, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Christmas special program. It is the final episode of 2025. That's right. Daddy's not working on crema. You're going to have to get your podcast from Santa this year, folks. I'm not doing it. Not until the new year. It's been a lovely year, and I want to spend a little bit of time celebrating with you. We have some interesting stories. I mean, what is Christmas about? Well, it kind of depends on what you're into. Some people would say it's about getting blackout drunk alone at a local well-decorated dive bar. Other people would say it's about gifts, consumerism, but most would say it's about family. It's what makes it difficult. It's what makes it meaningful, stressful, important, painful, sad. Can be sad for some people. We've talked about it. It's not going to be a great one for me this year, but that's okay because it's the holidays, and family is not one thing. And we're going to discuss family because there have been some family-related tragedies this week. Not a very fun news week. Been horrible things going on left and right. You saw what happened in Bondi Beach. You've heard what happened to Rob Reiner. You may also notice I'm wearing a Michigan hat. The Block M. Go Blue! Now, not everyone who listens to this program is a college football aficionado. One random angry, I assume, European freaked out when I talked about Lane Kiffin the other week and was like, "Don't assume we watch your football." Hey, shut the fuck up. How about that? You come to the 12, you understand ball just a little bit. As I've mentioned on this show, I'm not going to come here and break down schemes. When we talk ball, we talk about the intersection of sex and college football. And this week, Michigan was at the center of that. So we're going to get into the Sherrone Moore story here. It's been something, and we're going to talk a little bit of, there's been a detente between Erika Kirk and Candace Owens. These are kind of the things that are going on online as we head into the holiday season. But I encourage you, once we get towards the holiday season, to unplug. Disconnect a little bit. Stop following some of these stories. Maybe for Christmas, what we're going to get is a war in Venezuela. I don't know. Trump has tweeted some weird things. We'll talk about that as well. Like I mentioned, we're going to start today talking a little bit about Sherrone Moore. If you're not aware of what's been going on with Michigan football, my grandfather's alma mater, it is his hat that I'm currently wearing. Grandfather on my mom's side. Go Blue. Didn't go there. Went to UCSD. Go Tritons. Sherrone Moore was the first African-American coach in the history of Michigan football. He had a steep rise. He came up out the mud. Guy was he was coaching some fucking junior college or some tiny college. He became a tight ends coach. He became an O-line coach. They had a good O-line. He became such a big deal at Michigan that when Jim Harbaugh went out, Sherrone came in and coached those games for him. They won. He cried. Jim came back. They won the goddamn Natty. He was chosen as the successor to one of the most important football teams in the history of the world, the University of Michigan Wolverines. The most wins in college football history. Well, this week he lost his job. He had, I guess it was last week, but anyway, the point is he lost his job. What he put together was a Hall of Fame week, one of the worst weeks that anyone has ever weeked. It was a true riches to rags story. The gentleman began the week as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. He ended the week in a jail cell. What happened in between was his, I'll say it, Snow Bunny side piece broke up with him. Now, there had been rumors that he'd had an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. A lot of people had these rumors. Word got around town. He might be fucking. Now, of course, when you're winning, you can stick your dick in a lot more places. That's just the way that it works. You shouldn't. It'll get you in the end. But when you start losing, it starts looking real bad. Well, they tried to investigate. It turned out, apparently, that they tried to investigate. They talked to the lady. They talked to him. They said, hey, we're not fucking. Step off it. I'm not hitting that. I'm not getting up inside of the pussy. Well, that all changed when she was no longer able to continue the lie because she broke up with him and he started stalking her. And that's not good. Stalking is never a good thing. And I know it's Christmas time, so people might, stalking's by the fire, a stocking stuffer. No. He did the reverse. He stuffed her, then started stalking. That's a problem. That's not how you're supposed to do it. He's been very naughty. Santa's not bringing him any presents. Got a little obsessed. He basically crashed out, as the children would say. He had a mental health episode. He ended up in jail because after she decided to come clean because of with all the harassing and whatnot, she had no choice. She went in, told them, they fired him. He freaked out, went over to her house, grabbed a butter knife, threatened to end it. And himself said, your blood is on my hands. Said that with a butter knife. Said it with a butter knife, a butter knife, a butter knife. Why do I bring that up? Well, I'm just saying probably she had better knives. And again, I don't want anyone to think about this strategically. The beautiful thing is stay on this planet with us. It's not easy for anyone. Did I have a perfect day today? No, it's okay, honey. But threatening to off yourself with a butter knife is simply the type of energy I would have loved in that Ohio State game. It's bigger than football. It's bigger than football. A family is impacted. It's bigger than football. But that's a run the ball down your throat mentality that you just can't teach. Where was that in the locker room? Probably a little fucking distracted because you're shoving your cock in a pussy house it don't live in. Huh? To the demands of coaching a university that big, that high pressure of a job, to add on to that being a father of three, a husband, and having a long-term side chick who does your time management. There's no way to be a great coach while you're doing it. And we're setting aside the ethics of it. And frankly, we're setting aside the effect this is going to have on his wife and children. Why? It's a little too sad for the show. Think about it, internalize it, understand it. There's a human element, and when we hope everyone is okay. Yes. But from a pure time management practicality standpoint, you can't be a great coach and a shit husband and a creepy side man. That's too much time. I've never done it. But I imagine that stalking and harassing a woman is an incredibly time-consuming endeavor that no one should ever do for moral purposes, but also for reasons of getting your work done. There's no way he was hanging out with the boys. How are you going to make time for the boys when you're side bitching, fathering, husbanding, and running a football team? I guess that is your time with the boys. Maybe that's what it is. There was a Nick Saban quote that was flying around the internet. Nick Saban, another college football coach, one of the greatest of all time, Alabama. And he said something to the effect of never fuck someone. He was talking to the boy. He was talking to the kids on the team. Imagine you're in a room. You're talking to a bunch of 19-year-old dudes that are famous. They out here trying to you know what I mean? They are in college. They're out there trying to run the ball down their damn throat. Run my cock down their damn throat. That's what they're trying to do, not condoning it, unless everyone's interested. In which case, fantastic. He said something. He said, make sure you don't fuck anyone who has less to lose than you. He paused, looked around. His wife's name, he refers to her as Miss Terry. He said, so if I'm going to cheat on Miss Terry, it's going to be with Hillary fucking Rodham Clinton. That's what he said. I'd love a date check on the year, because I'm pretty sure Hill Dog has a hall pass. I'm pretty sure Hill Dog is fully allowed to get that box eaten up by Coach Saban if she desires it. Her husband also made a boo-boo. So the point is interesting. The execution of it was bad. And Alabama has some bad executions. But the death penalty is a whole nother conversation. The point that he was making is strong. It went around the internet because it was college football realm, but it was also good advice. It was something good to remember. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it's haunting. It's scary. I mean, this guy walked the tightest of tightropes to get to the pinnacle of his profession. It was a beautiful story. It will never feel that way again. Isn't that scary? Because of all the work and all the time and everything that it takes to build something and how easy it is to go away. We know this. It's easier to create than to destroy. You can create the world in a day. We could destroy it. We've created the world over a long time. You could destroy it in a day. There's a bunch of buttons sitting in rooms with weird, fat, narcissistic men in suits. They could press them if they felt like it. Thank God the human brain has some logic in it, even if it's limited amongst that set. It's terrifying how quickly something can go down. And I saw a lot of discourse about it because people were saying, they were saying things that they were saying crude, crass things. I don't speak crassly at all. They were saying things like pussy's undefeated. Pussy is undefeated. That's what they, it's just, you can't, it has won a million rounds against great fighters. Millions of rounds it's won. It's a dangerous game. Other people are like, how could he do that? Why would he do that? She wasn't that hot. What an idiot. He couldn't just keep it in his pants. What a fucking idiot. And also, not to be lost on this, you're a leader of men at a college, at an institution. You're a Michigan man. You're a good man. Yeah. And I'm wearing the hat because this is when they need me most. Not because I'm proud, but because you got to put on that hat when things are bad. I've been wearing a lot of Shark stuff while they sucked. We're good now. Still wearing it, but rest easy. I have the watch. See you in Valhalla. I think there is one misunderstanding that people have with this. Because a lot of people are like, you threw it all away for a little puss. You idiot. What is wrong with you? You could also be missing a bit of motivation. This guy, think about him. He's always loved football. He's loved one thing, ball. Hanging with the boys. It's a nice testosterone-filled environment. The boys are charged up. The boys are out there playing ball. But he was an offensive lineman. Bit of a pudgy guy. Fat guy. Unsung hero. Never been sung. Rarely sung. But he was on the team. Wanted a little attention. Wanted a little love. I remember being a baseball player when I was in high school. I hated football season. Because I was like, why the fuck is that girl that I have a crush on wearing a number 67 jersey from a rotund man who I don't think is cool or smart? Why the fuck do I have to see that? I don't like it. But guess what? That guy, for the first time in his life, had used his skill set to get a little attention. Get an inkling, get a whiff, get a wondering, a potentiality of a puss. A Christmas miracle, a come up for some of the large men on the line. It's a real thing. This guy, then he's coaching at a small school, offensive line coach at a small school. This dude's grinding. But it's kind of like, I have some status. I might be driving a Honda Accord, but when I walk around this campus, I have some clout. People know me, Coach Moore. That's right. Then tight ends coach, O-line coach. But at Michigan, this is a big deal. Well, finally, he's the guy. Finally, he gets to be the guy. And obviously, I'm not saying he never got girls. He has a wife. He has children. He should be happy. He should be done. But he's been wanting this shine for a long time. He might have a little bit of a complex. He might have a little FBC, a little fat boy complex. It happens to people. This guy grew up in a Sahara desert of pussy. He wasn't strong enough. He wasn't strong enough to resist when the time came. How could he throw everything he built away for one thing? Well, why did he even start building it? That's a question he's going to have to ask himself. And he'll have plenty of time to do it because he just got relieved of 2 of his 3 opportunities. No longer does he have to spend time coaching ball at the University of Michigan, the school I root for but didn't go to, that has been disgraced by his behavior. He's also not going to have time. He is not going to have to do any more stalking, so he's got plenty of time to pick up a new hobby. Well, I suggest that hobby is being a good husband and father. You're going to have to lock into this one. It was tough to see him sitting in jail. I don't think that this is going to be the best Christmas for that family. I do think there are going to be a lot of presents under that tree. All from Coach. Coach is going to be putting some presents under that tree. And a lot of them will probably be computers for his children to use that have every browser on the internet blocked. Hey, honey, will you pass the butter? How come you didn't pass the knife with it? Sad story. Obviously, hope the best for the family. Hope the best for the university. Go blue. We're going to have to do what we're going to do. But hey, guys, this is the Christmas special. We're going to talk about family. And the reason we're going to talk about family today is because it's not perfect for everyone. And I want you to realize that yours maybe isn't the worst out there. You might not be having the worst Christmas. I don't want to make a joke about this because it's fucked up. I don't believe Nick Reiner will be getting gifts this year. Probably shouldn't. I think Cole for him. Naughty list for him. You know, that's one thing. I was looking at my Christmas. I was like, this is going to be a tough Christmas having lost my dad. I go, but at least I didn't do it. And so that feels good. When you look at these stories, these horrible like human interest stories, I usually try to talk about like larger like macro news things, like what's going on in the world and all this. And we're doing some family stuff today because yes, Christmas, but also because I think given the type of news that I've been consuming this week, that is just a lot of jaw on the floor, incredibly depressing and incredibly sad things, like about Rob Reiner, who everyone says was a lovely person, everyone except for Trump. We'll get into that. You look at it and it makes you feel horrible about humanity, about them, but by a little bit of comparison, it makes you go, well, mine could be worse. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So embrace the family that you have. And let's get in the holiday season. This is the 12/12s of 12smas, everybody. And it's a beautiful thing. There's one story that I saw that I want to bring up here. It was in The Guardian, actually. And it's open on the wrong screen once again. And this says YouTube channels spreading fake anti-labor labor videos viewed 1.2 billion times in 2025. It's an exclusive more than 150 anonymous channels using cheap AI tools to spread false stories about Keir Starmer a study finds. So this was very interesting. Now, you might not follow British politics all that closely. I watch Slow Horses. That's the main thing that I do. I understand the MI5 quite well, but if you're not watching that show, you won't understand the reference. The Labour Party is actually not about people who want women to get pregnant. It's probably the opposite. I don't know their politics over there, but ultimately, it's the more left-wing party. Keir Starmer is the Prime Minister of England right now with a fascinating name that sounds, frankly, directly out of a Nazi uniform. Ja, Keir Starmer, ja. I can't really do German right now. Wer are your Jews? Children! There's a lot of different ways to do it, but Keir Starmer, like, he sounds like he should be in the SS, but that's neither here nor there. The reason I bring this story up is The Guardian found it. Now, basically what they found is that there were a lot of politically focused, conspiracy-minded channels on YouTube that were spreading false information about one particular party. They had not been removed from YouTube. Yes, they violated YouTube's guidelines, but it wasn't until The Guardian reached out that YouTube went ahead and took those down. The reason we bring this up is I think you can expect a lot more of this to come. The 2016 election, people couldn't believe Hillary lost. It was like the Russia thing. It was like, it's a hoax, it's this, and they're paying this, and they're paying bots, and they're blah, blah, blah. It's like, that was maybe not the thing that determined that election. And Trump, in some ways, was right about the misinformation spread in the media about that. The obsession with it didn't really end up necessarily coming to pass, at least as I understand it. But it was the beginning of a reality of how shit is going to work. Some of the most popular videos on YouTube, which is the most popular place to watch videos, are video essays. No, not Mexicans with a camera. Video essays, meaning people will talk about like a particular topic, and they'll bring in B-roll and graphics, and they'll say things, and they'll make a point, and it's a way to consume information, and sometimes passively while you're doing other things. They're very popular. Some of the biggest creators on YouTube are doing it, but they're real people. A lot of people have decided to stop showing their face, which means you can basically start generating this shit through AI. So a bunch of these channels were doing, British accents, and which I think really lends itself to AI and also lends me to believe it. I don't know what sort of colonial hangover we have, but when I hear something in a British accent, I'm like, right, that's correct, isn't it? It simply must be. It's so refined. But this is going to be a huge trend as we look forward to next year. 2026 is going to be a big year for AI slappy-tappy content. It just is. And the stuff that does well online is the things that it feels like there's a void of, or things that also can grasp you. There's kind of a dopamine rabbit hole that takes hold of you online. We've talked about it in comedy, where you start watching comedy videos, but then you're like, I don't know if I really like this podcast. I kind of want to hear the TMZ version of this podcast that just covers the drama. And then you just kind of have this rabbit hole of like more and more and more and more and more, because the way we consume content is this kind of addictive, dopamine-inducing, I need more battle royale. And news, especially as consumed online, is becoming that too. So you might start off listening to a mainstream podcast or a show on a platform. And then you start being like, okay, I'm getting the information. I'm getting a little bored. Maybe I want something with a little more opinion, a little more pizzazz, a little more fur coat. The fuck? And then you're there. And then you go, yeah, well, they kind of alluded to it, but I feel like there's something extra. And then you start getting to the juicier shit. The people that are like, you don't actually know what the fuck is going on. One of the biggest podcasts in the world right now is Candace Owens. She is willing to do investigations no one else is willing to do. She's willing to speak matter-of-factly about stuff no one else is willing to say. It comes across as if maybe she is the most brave, fearless, resilient, well-researched person on the internet. Alternatively, she could be spreading shit that isn't true, that fits a narrative, that makes her the only person talking about this. Well, that's what you have here. You have an incentive for foreign countries and the tools to achieve it, where they can just talk shit, spread misinformation, make someone's life incredibly difficult, change the minds of the people in free countries because it serves their goal, and also because it serves what the algorithm wants to give you, which is more, crazier. Holy fuck, I'm the only one hearing this. It's almost like living in a manic fucking state. That's a little scary. It's a little scary, and it's hard to stay on top of it. It says here in the article, this specific network focuses on the prime minister and Labour government, but the same loopholes could be exploited by any hostile actor to push an agenda. Because social media platforms profit from engagement, their business model creates an inbuilt tension between enforcing their own policies and reducing the spread of malicious content that drives revenue. The rapid spread of AI has also introduced new risks to the online environment, and platforms need to move faster and invest more to address them. Yeah, it's tough. Where do the incentives lie? There with some bad figures sometimes. There's even a story that came out about how a bunch of Nick Fuentes' earliest engagement is all botted. He was able to buy bots to he had an audience, but he's able to buy bot engagement to lift his profile to a certain level. And then once enough people had seen him, take hold. That's how these things work. Andrew Tate, his whole thing was he taught this whole university. He forced people to post clips of him on a bunch of different accounts as part of being in his university. It is this really shitty, inauthentic type of scraping the bottom of the barrel type shit that can actually break through in an online environment where truth does not really matter, but the narrative does. Ho! It's gonna be an interesting year. Now, speaking of people who build audiences that way, and I was just talking about Candace Owens has had an interesting year. She spent a lot of time talking about how the president or prime minister of France, Emmanuel Macron, his wife has a penis. That's what she said. I believe it ended up not being true. I think that there are legal cases that are exploring this, and it's not going well. But she said, do look like a lady, and that might be the song that we play when a dude's wife has a penis, and it's a fine song, and I'm not legally alleging that of anybody. I'm just saying that she went on a whole tear about that, and people are into it. It's entertainment. Come on. Entertainment's always been crazy. We all had sleepovers back in the... You remember sleepovers back in the day? What commercial, if you stayed up late enough at a sleepover and you're in or around my age, what commercial did you watch? I give you 5 seconds to think about it. You can write it as a comment. And obviously, we're all going to say Girls Gone Wild. People were like, this is the end of the world. Well, you got to break through sometimes. And back then, all it took was tits. Tits on the TV. Now it takes, alleging that presidents' wives have a big old fat juicy cock upon them. It's neither here nor there. She has been covering some of the inconsistencies in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, who she was friends with. She's been very critical of Erika Kirk, as have a lot of people who have watched one of the 35 podcasts she does a day and the 25 in-person engagements she does a minute. People have thoughts about how she behaved before, during, after. People have these thoughts. If you have these thoughts and they're incorrect, it's a tough look because you're shitting on a new widow, which is not a nice thing to do. But Candace doesn't believe the official story lines up. And so she's been saying things like she's been being tailed by Egyptian planes since before the event happened. She's been saying there was a preponderance of foreign, I believe, telephones pinging from the event in Utah. The whole Tyler Robinson story, bit weird. Rather weird, turning himself in, saying not guilty. The text messages that seemed chat GPT'd about all of it. The way Kash Patel's been behaving. A lot of it's a little strange. It could just be that everyone's weird. But she was putting a lot of that back on Erika herself and a lot of it on Turning Point, saying, look how much they've profited, look how much this, look how much that. And she's been saying she's been making a living off of it, making a lot of money, getting a lot of views. Pause that timer. My laundry's done. Getting a lot of views. Well, she finally sat down with Erika Kirk. No cameras on, one-on-one, to talk shop, talk turkey, have a chat. She came back and she said it was actually a very productive conversation. And I've been cleared up about a lot of things that I was maybe mistaken about as it pertains to Turning Point USA. I will say there are some narratives that don't really make sense to me in terms of the official story that's going on. Some of the things that don't make sense to me either, understood. But as far as it goes with Erika and Turning Point, it was a very good conversation. Things are good. Calm down. We don't need to put everything on her. We don't need to have people needing extra security, threats, and all this. We can call it off. I feel good about it. I feel a lot better about it. You should too. Do you know who didn't like that? Her fans. And that's why I bring this up. Because I think Candace knows exactly what she's doing. I think she's a smart entertainer. I think that she finds narratives, runs with them. She does, I call this like RFK research, where she's like, I've read a lot of things, and I'm not really going to totally engage with people who disprove them, because I'm just going to be able to say, well, I saw in this report X. And I'm never really going to change my mind, and I'm going to say what I say because it makes me very popular, because I have an incentive to say what I say, whether I believe it or not, and maybe you do at some point. Either way. She sat down with Erika and probably had what I think happens a lot. You see someone, you engage with them through clips, you engage with them online, you engage with them from the comfort of your own home, the lunacy of your own home, really. You kind of lose your mind online if you're on there too long. And then she sat down with someone face to face and talked to them for several hours and went over things. And as often happens when you sit down face-to-face with a human being in real life for not entertainment purposes, you feel better about it for a little. There's like an actual like connection. There's like a colliding, and you're like, oh, fuck, this is a conversation. I have to give and take. I have to listen as well as talk. Oh my God, I kind of came out of this feeling like a little bit more healthy. And then you go and you say that to your audience, and you don't realize that the audience you've created is never going to accept that, because you've been priming them for years and years and years to basically be like, every single bad thing that is happening is a crazy global Jewish conspiracy. And anyone who has information that doesn't agree with that at the time is part of the Mossad and a Fed. What'd you think was going to happen? Now, I'm just going to go ahead and predict this because I've seen how this goes. She had a face-to-face meeting. She felt better about it. Been kind of feuding. Got together. Saw a person. Realized it was a person. Talked to them. Oh, I changed my mind a little bit. Go online. Say it. Doesn't go well. Thinks about it. Gets back in to her space. Eventually will go, you know what? Fuck that. She will turn on her again. That's my guess. Not just because of how things work online, but because of how things work when you get in a fight with someone. When you get in a fight with someone, you're like, you know what? Fuck you. Not someone you love, but someone that maybe you were friends with, like not like a real, like, sometimes you be fighting with your family or your spouse or whatever. No, that's a totally different thing. I'm talking about maybe you had a falling out with someone and you're like, you know what? Fuck you. I thought about it. Fuck you. Fuck you. It's on site. And then you see them in person and you're like, oh, fuck. Because you've been kind of into them. You see them and you're like, oh, fuck, it's that person. It's almost the same butterflies you get when you see someone you have a crush on. It's just kind of the opposite. And you go, fuck. And then you go, all right, you kind of, it feels better to just kind of, But then you go back to your life and how you felt before. And you might be like, fuck you, it's on site again. So we'll see how it goes. The Civil War is civil warring. And it's just going to keep getting crazier because the incentives now to compete with AI, slop, YouTube shit, whatever the fuck sort of propaganda other countries are doing, it's going to push what it's going to push. What's entertaining is going to be entertaining, and that stuff is going to be the stuff that goes further and further and further and makes you feel worse and worse and worse until eventually you feel like you've been eating fast food all the time and people have a cleanse. We've talked about the concept before. Enjoy a couple weeks off, baby. It is the holidays. All right, we got a little bit more on the back end here. But first, I want to read you some tour dates. We have some new ones live, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend, Batavia, Illinois, followed by San Jose, California, December 23rd, Philadelphia, PA, January 22nd. We're into the new year. Huntsville, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee, Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, Dania Beach, Florida, Naples, Florida, Dallas, Texas, Bernalillo, New Mexico. Boy, I'm hitting them all here, folks. Go to joeyavery.com, buy some motherfucking tickets. Also, subscribe to my comedy YouTube channel if you're just here, which is very rare, but possible. Gearing up to probably drop the special there. We'll see. We're sending it around. Who knows? But I just want you guys to see it. I'm very excited for it. Keep an eye out for that in the new year. I love you guys. Let's get back to the show. All right, folks, so Trump is just generally trumping. The White House unveiled plaques near the Oval Office that describe U.S. presidents with varying levels of accuracy depending on President Trump's opinion of them. I mean, it's funny as well as just annoying and should be beneath us, but hey, what are you going to do? He described Mr. Obama as one of the most divisive political figures in American history. Despite Obama having the highest favorability rating of any living president, the plaque for Mr. Biden is placed under a picture of an auto pen and promotes Trump's lie that the 2020 election was stolen. Both plaques include a number of Trump-style insults and attacks on Obama. Holy shit, this is a literal plaque that is outside the Oval Office. Sleepy Joe Biden was by far the worst president in American history, taking office as a result of the most corrupt election ever seen in the United States. Biden oversaw a series of unprecedented disasters. This is etched in gold on a plaque in the White House. Oversaw a series of unprecedented disasters that brought our nation to the brink of destruction. His policies caused the highest inflation ever recorded, leading the U.S. dollar to lose more than 20% of its value in 4 years. His Green New Deal scam surrendered American energy dominance, and by abolishing the southern border, Biden let 21 million people from all over the world pour into the United States, including from prisons, jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums, which are apparently different according to Trump. His Afghanistan disaster was among the most humiliating events in American history and resulted in the murder of 13 brave American service members, with many others gravely wounded. Seeing Biden's devastating weakness, Russia invaded Ukraine and Hamas terrorists launched October 7th. Nicknamed both sleepy and crooked, Joe Biden was dominated by his radical left handlers. They and their allies in the fake news media attempted to cover up his severe mental decline and unprecedented use of the auto pen. Following his humiliating debate loss to President Trump in the big June 2024 debate, he was forced to withdraw from his campaign for re-election in disgrace. Biden weaponized law enforcement against his political opponent, while also persecuting many other innocent people. He left office issuing blanket pardons to radical left Democrats. I should have just been doing this in Trump the whole time, because it is. He left office issuing blanket pardons to radical Democrat criminals and thugs, as well as members of the Biden crime family. But despite it all, President Trump would get reelected in a landslide and save America. I mean, the dude is just insane. Now, of course, with everything Trump, some of those critiques would be fair. But do we do personal critiques on plaques in the White House by the next president? Not usually. And also some of them were ridiculous. But that's just how he is. And it gets to the point where, you laugh about it, but then it's like, okay, he's shitting on a guy who was just stabbed to death in terms of his tweets about Rob Reiner that people were disgusted by, and he's also doing this with Venezuela and wants to go to war there, and it's just a bit much. But it does answer the question of, like, what if your worst friend did have all the power? It's basically what it is. Someone who can't let anything, like, he really does, and Susie Wild said this in her Vanity Fair piece. She said he has this is his chief of staff, he has the personality of an alcoholic. He doesn't drink, but he's literally drunk. All he is doing is just getting mad at people all the time and screaming things. I didn't watch it. He called a presidential address tonight and said nothing other than, dude, I'm fucking smacking it. Just so you know, daddy be crucian. Insane behavior. Truly insane behavior, but it's what we're left with. He really hates the whole auto pen thing. He also admitted that when he said in an interview when he pardoned the founder of the crypto firm that helped his crypto company gain a bunch of money despite that person doing a myriad amount of horrible and corrupt things. He said, I didn't really look at it. I just pardoned him. Kind of like a personal auto pen sort of situation. But that's where we are. That's where we are. And we've talked about it before, and everyone who said this about Joe Biden was correct. You're not supposed to have insanely old people running the country. There was a time when I was like, we as a society are missing something because we don't listen to our elders. It's all about who's famous. It's all young people. You want to see who's next, who's hot, who's next, who's the 20-year-old streamer that the industry should go after, who's younger, who's next, who's younger, who's next. People don't listen to their elders because the elders never went away. A native tribe wasn't run by the oldest person. The old person was sitting in a chair just posting up, fucking thinking about shit. And I don't really know this to be true, but I'm 90% sure. Just sitting in a chair fucking thinking about shit, just like looking at a river and a rock and being like, dude, what does it mean? I'm going to figure this out before I go. And then, the main guy who was running things, and sorry, it was a guy, would come back and be like, we need to go to war. And the elder would be like, you can't go to war. Because if you go... I wanted a better elder voice. I wanted something that conferred a little bit more like that. That's just someone who's about to die. You want the old scratchy voice that's just like, if you go to war, it means war goes to you. Of course I know that. I'm going to bring the fight to them. That's not how the fight works. Once you unleash the fight, it's a stream of its own, and you are but a rock. It rolls over you. Are you sure you're a rock that's in a firm part of the creek? That's the type shit that you need from fucking old people. They're not supposed to be in the day-to-day, running things, losing their mind, having mental fucking breakdowns in front of the world. The man is insane. And everyone was right. The Democrats fucked up trying to cover up that Biden was too old. Motherfucker was at an Eagles game. Did he predict that the Eagles would win? Yeah, he actually kind of did. Did he look well? Well, no. It looks like they've stapled his eyes to the back of his head so that it looks like he's smiling. The fucking Chinese Biden. All due respect to everybody. What everyone's kind of missing is that Trump is also an old fuck who's completely losing it. We're not supposed to be run by... Old people don't have good long-term thinking. They revert back to what they were doing before. They're impulsive. It happens. It's part of getting older. There was a whole daily piece that came out. It was talking about Joe Biden's immigration policy, or lack thereof. Some people say, oh, the New York Times is left-leaning, and then left people would say, like, no, it's corporate shill Democrat. Whatever the fuck it is, they're the people you wouldn't think be as critical of Biden, and yet they were like, yeah, his entire immigration policy was a fucking mess. There was no long-term thinking. They basically were like, oh, it'll just like calm down, maybe it'll chill, and it shifted American perspective on immigration for a long time. Short-term thinking. Old man not think so good. Dude, we need choice wisdoms. Specific sniper moments of wisdom. You're not supposed to be running things. It's insane, and this is what we get. This is what we get. Insane behavior all around. I want to talk about a clip here. This was, it just kind of came across my feed. Now, we talk a lot about politics here. It's not usually like a dating show. Obviously, if, there's a sex/football scandal, we talk sports. We do sex and football. We do business. And then we do politics. We're going to do some dating advice that I came across because this was interesting. I hadn't seen this approach. I'm going to warn you up front. There's some strong language in this. And I'm not the one speaking, but this was a dating tip that I saw that I thought might be interesting.
Some of you guys out there are just way too smart for your own good. You want to get laid, and you want to get laid fast, I'm telling you right now, you need to start retard maxing. There should be nothing intellectual going on in your brain when you're approaching and talking to girls. I used to not even approach or talk to girls because I thought I didn't know what to say, and I think that a lot of people get hung up on that, but that's actually how it should be. You should go into every interaction with a girl having no clue what the fuck is about to come out of your mouth. And those usually end up being the best interactions because it's just like, you're just saying shit and you don't give a fuck. You can maybe plan out like what your opener is going to be, but that honestly doesn't even really matter. That just gets your foot in the door. From there, it's just good vibes, a nice little feel-good message that makes you enjoyable to talk to, and a retard-maxed attitude.
Well,
just fully anti-rational, fully anti-intellectual, and you're just vibing. I'm telling you, if that's how you approach a girl, she's gonna want to know, like, how is this guy so bold? Like, how is he just coming up to me, behaving like his shit don't stink? And he's not even, like, intimidated like every other guy is. Like, why? She's gonna either think you're just a full-blown retard or unbelievably confident. Either way, she's gonna want to find out what's up. She's going to want to see what the deal is. So, you're in. That's the mindset, and then from there, it's just action, action, action. You're just chucking up shots like Kobe in his prime. Fucking fadeaway jumpers, step back threes, not worrying about the field goal percentage at all. Just chucking, shooting. And then eventually one goes in, and that's how you start a little hot streak. That's how you find your stroke and get hot. And maybe, who knows, maybe you end up finding the one. Just keep shooting. That's what it's all about. Kobe would be proud. Some of you guys out there are just way too...
I don't have that many notes. If you couldn't see the guy, he's perfect. He's shirtless, puka shell, long hair. It's exactly what you think. The language is crude. It might not be nice to hear that. I think people hear that and they go, what? No, that's not actually what I'm looking for. You're not. In a long-term partner, yeah. He's talking about meeting someone at a bar, and he is right. He's got a lot of points. Sometimes it's the uncomfortable truths that are the real truths that you need to hear. I'd like to think, no, it's about being polished. It's about being perfect. It's about being that character in a movie who's suave and comes up and has the first line because it's written, knows his drink. The bartender slides it to him. He's mysterious. He's loved and lost. He's seasoned. That's who a girl wants. They actually want someone who is, and I'm going to not say the full thing, I will say our word maxing. You have to clear the mechanism. Now, obviously, I'm out of the game. I haven't had to use this in a while, but I know truth when I see it. Don't know what's coming. It's actually how you do crowd work. Not going to lie. Not going to lie at all. People are like, you must have to be so smart to do crowd work. Well, yeah, but you just have to get out of your own way. You have to not know what you're going to say next and just react to something in the moment. It's just, what? Boom. Empty that fucking head of yours. It's actually a great way to live your life. I'm getting kind of fired up. I might even say it. We do need to all start retard maxing in our daily life. We need to be a little divved up. Y'all know what it is. Y'all remember that. A little divved up. We need to start retard maxing in every aspect of our lives. It's important. It was the only good moments I had today. Today, I had like one of those days where it was like, I was at the desk all day. I went to the gym. I got in a full workout. Never felt good at any point. I stayed at the desk and I worked on stuff all day, but I never felt like I made good progress. I was trying to plan for this. I didn't have stories that I really wanted to talk about. I wasn't even planning to talk about Sherrone Moore till I put this hat on. I didn't know what I wanted. I was trying to think. I was like, how do we, for the 12, how do we start getting some more views on YouTube? What's a good, hot, buzzy topic? No. Bad Joey. Start retard maxing. You got to clear the mechanism. Empty the chamber. It's really, now it's described by a dude who looks like he was conceived by a longboard that fucked a California burrito. The dude looks like he just spawned out of a volleyball court in Mission Beach, San Diego. The man is a surfboard but has never used one. Yes, unlikely messenger. But as we've discussed on this Eastern Religion podcast, it's really quite Buddhist. It's really about being present, being in the moment, being in the here and now, the power of now. The past is not real. The future is not real. All we have is this moment, and yet we spend our entire time stressed, being pulled in each different direction. What is my future going to look like? I got all this to do. I got all that. What am I going to be doing in a year? Where's my career? Where's this now? Try this for a day. I listened to like half of the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's like a self-help book, but it domes you. It's like, it's so much. It's really about how you have to ruthlessly live in the moment and all this. You need the right messenger, and it was that guy. That guy simplified hundreds of thousands of years. That time might be off, but many, many years of wisdom, of monk-like attitude. How do you live in the here and now? How do you clear the mechanism? His path, his calling, his understanding of God, Jah, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, Haile Selassie the Most High, is trying to get pussy by retard maxing. That's how he did it. And the word is crass. We'll call it div maxing. We'll divved up. It's okay. You got to div max. Understand, you got to be a little neurodivergent sometimes. Clear the mechanism, clear the mind, have nothing going on, just react, be in the moment. Let's try that. Let's try that for the holidays. When you're getting ready to go over to Aunt Fuckface's house and you're like, God damn it, I do not like this woman, and I don't want to eat her fruit cake, and I don't want to pinch on the cheek, and I don't want any more goddamn questions about, am I single? Am I getting a job? How's this going? How's that going? Because you know the undercurrent that's going on there. Clear the mechanism. Think about nothing, as if you were that guy trying to hit on a woman. And just say, I don't know what I'm going to say next. Don't spend 2 days pre-holiday going, fuck, that's going to suck. Don't think about it. Show up. Have a shot if you need to. If you don't drink, do what you do. Put pop rocks in your pussy. I don't give a fuck, whatever gets you to the dance. Clear the mechanism. Just be there. Div max for yourself. It'll work. It'll work. It worked for me today. I was thinking I've been procrastinating. It's been taking me a really long time. I have all this stuff. I was here for like basically 24 hours. I've had a time, folks. I went to California for Thanksgiving, okay? I'm in Northern California for Thanksgiving. Fly to Anaheim, go with the Ducks to Chicago, fly back from Chicago to LA, take meetings, go from LA to Portland, drive to Seattle, sleep a few hours, fly to New York, be in New York for a few days, loved it, train to Boston, do shows in Boston, fly from Boston to LA, One day, one scene, fly back to New York, one day and half a night, wake up. It's fucking, I'll just tell you, it's midnight. I still got to edit this motherfucker. I'm waking, and I still got to pack because I'm waking up at 4 a.m. so I can get to Chicago, do some Barstool stuff, go to Beverly, fly back to California, and then motherfucker might enjoy the holidays and chill out for a little bit. Take some time for you this holiday season. They say it's the season of giving. I'm going to say give some to you. You can't fill up other people's cup if your cup ain't full. Take some time for you. And then I'm going to motherfucking Paris for New Year's. What up? All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for listening to the show. It's been great spending 2025 with you. Let's hope for big things in 26. Big things for you. Big things for the 12. Big things for me, big things for the pod, because if there aren't, it's not going to last the whole next year, and that's okay, because creative destruction is a real thing. But love you guys a lot, and just remember, got a retard max. But there is a limit, because Trump does that too, and he does it a little bit too much, and sometimes it's not time for that. So you got to pick your battles, ladies and gentlemen. You got to pick your spots. Understand the limits of it. You know, we started this episode talking about Sherrone Moore, and a lot of people would say he made a boneheaded decision. He did. And some people might get these theories mixed up and say, well, maybe he was div maxing. Maybe what he was doing was he was just like acting. He wasn't thinking. No, here's the problem. He was thinking too much. Motherfucker started stalking. That's not retard maxing. So don't get it twisted. Understand what it is. It's a moment of the present, a moment of unpredictability, a moment of being uncompromisingly you. And just let it vibe. A lot of you, like me, you might not be out at bars. You're not single. You're not hitting on people. So where do you get to use this? Well, folks, Riz is not just about getting fucked up. And I want you to understand this. Riz is a way of goddamn life. A lot of people think the reason that you go out to bars, you hit on people, a lot of people think, oh, it's just human nature. It's just how you are. It's an innate desire to mate that you can never get out of you. And we've become complex creatures, so we think it's all about what kind of shoes are you wearing? What kind of jacket? Do you have a slide line? Do you know what to tell people about what your hobbies are? Do you know how to make yourself presentable? This is how we mate now, because it ain't just about who picked the most berries. Maybe that's all that Riz is. Maybe that's all that the economy is. Maybe that's what bars are. Maybe that's why people get famous. Maybe it's all just about fucking. Well, maybe it's actually more than that. And maybe the act of fucking, maybe the act of learning how to Riz someone up at the bar is actually training for the next part of your life. And maybe you need to understand that just because you're not out there at the bar at closing time trying to smash doesn't mean you can hop up out of bed and turn your swag off. You need to be Riz-maxing in your entire life because you can use it in different ways. It's not all about trying to fuck charisma. You learn it. You learn it in the trenches of that battlefield, but you deploy it in the halls that define your life. Job interview. Impressing your significant other's parent. Getting on the phone with customer service, wanting the outcome you want, brightening a barista's day at a Starbucks for no reason at all. Take the AirPods out and go out there and try and riz up the fucking world in 2026. And if you're gonna do a little bit of retard maxing to get there, I suggest you do it. Be well, use your tools wisely. I've given them to you only because I believe you can handle them. The few, the proud, the 12. This has been 2025 with the Joey Show. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all the support. It's an important but small but mighty crew. And I hope you have a great holiday season. If it's a tough one, that's okay. It's not all a Hallmark movie for everybody, except for the ones where, like, you know, crazy shit happens. They get divorced and, like, drive a car through the house. And have a good New Year. When you think about the New Year, think about what you want 2026 to be. Don't think about what you hated about 25. Let's move forward. Let's be better. Why can't we have it all, baby? Riz up.